The C-SPAN school bus recently came to Springfield as part of its 50 Capitals tour. We get a tour of the bus, which is also a working TV studio, from Joel Bacon. And later we speak with the co-president of C-SPAN, Rob Kennedy, who was born and raised in Springfield, Illinois.
Welcome to the C-SPAN bus. We're on our 50 Capitals tour. We're here in Springfield, Illinois, our 41st stop on our Capitals tour. We're hitting the last leg of the tour. We started in September of 2017 and are going to be ending in November of this year. We've already gone, like I said, to 40 other states. Those states include Hawaii and Alaska, where we've put the bus on a big boat and shipped it to those states that are a little bit harder to get to. We're doing this tour as part of our 25 years of the C-SPAN bus program. So we started in 1993 and have been traveling around the country with different forms of the bus, where you'll see back here is our onboard studio. So C-SPAN, along with this tour, going to all 50 states, we are interviewing elected officials at each one. So we've got the lights, we've got the cameras, and this is where the action takes place right here. This is the background that we had for our interview today with State Representative Tim Butler, who was on talking about all of the issues going on in Illinois. Right here you'll see our actual interview with Representative Butler that was on earlier this morning. You can find all of that, as always, on cspan.org, where we have over 245,000 hours of long-form video, whether that's our House or the Senate proceedings, or all of the campaign 2012, 2016, and 2020 when it comes up. We're right, obviously, in the middle of campaign 2018, and that's why we're going to finish our tour off kind of in New England. At the front of the bus, if we'll come right up here, we have 11 tablets that have a lot of the stuff that we show on C-SPAN. Like I said, we cover the House and the Senate, but we also cover the White House, Supreme Court, Book TV, American History TV, and we also have a lot of people that from pop culture that have been on C-SPAN throughout the years. Now, people from pop culture, we don't necessarily purposely have them on C-SPAN, but we show that they come to Washington, D.C. when they are passionate about something that they're really interested in. And so they try to use their celebrity and get legislation passed or ideas talked about and kind of bring them into the public sphere a little bit more. So when we go to students later today at Springfield High School, we'll encourage them to check out all of the things that we have about C-SPAN and also take quiz. So we've got executive, judicial, and legislative quizzes that they can look at and try to figure out. We also have our student quiz, which is a major feature of that is all of the C-SPAN classroom information that we provide for free to teachers and to students. The kind of the highlight of that is not only the lesson plans that we offer for free, but also our competition that we do every year called Student Camp. It's a documentary competition this year. It's 5 to 6 minutes. Students from middle and high school answer the question, what does it mean to be American? And they will go create a documentary, use some C-SPAN footage, at least 2 clips of that, and then we give out 150 prizes of $100,000 total. Last year we had about 3,000 students participate, or 3,000 videos entered, and 5,600 students participate. So it's something that we are really excited about every year, and we are really excited about the new question that we're doing this year. So that's the C-SPAN bus, that's the 50 Capitals tour, that's Student Camp, that's C-SPAN classroom, and everything else in between. Thanks so much.
Next, we speak with Rob Kennedy, the co-president of C-SPAN, who was born and raised in Springfield, Illinois. Rob Kennedy, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel, and here we are, actually in your hometown is Springfield, Illinois, while C-SPAN is doing the 50 Capitals tour. Welcome back to Springfield, and great to see you again.
Thank you, Terry. Great to see you.
A few people, I think, know that one of the co-vice presidents of C-SPAN is actually from Springfield, Illinois. How long have you been with C-SPAN now?
I've been with C-SPAN since 1987. I was born and raised in Springfield. Went to school in Champaign at the University of Illinois and then Chicago at the University of Chicago. And early into my career, I met Brian Lamb and the early staff of C-SPAN, got to know them, And they asked me to come on board in 1987, and I've been here ever since.
How, or just in some ways, we could probably do an all-day seminar, but how has coverage of government changed over the period of time that you've been with C-SPAN?
Well, it's changed in a lot of ways. It's changed in terms of the number of events that are available. We started with the House and the Senate, and of course we've expanded to congressional committees and many other events in Washington and across the country. The other thing that's changed tremendously while I've been at C-SPAN is the technology for covering those events. So while in the beginning we had large, heavy cameras that we had to roll up the ramps at the Capitol, we now have smaller, lighter cameras. We have robotic cameras that allow us to get shots in the hearing rooms that are much more neutral and equivalent between, say, the witness and the members of Congress. We've changed to HD, and believe it or not, there are things of interest in HD on C-SPAN and in government. So all that technology has allowed for a much more realistic depiction of what's going on in these rooms where the events are happening, and that's really what C-SPAN's always been about, is putting you in the room so that you can see the event as it happens.
I think people these days don't even stop to reflect that it used to be that a lot of people in Congress didn't want cameras on them. Now we're so accustomed to being able to watch the House floor, the Senate floor, the committee hearings, press conferences, and that the U.S. Senate took like another 7 years after the House before they agreed to put cameras in.
That's right. The House went first in 1979, and that's basically the catalyst for C-SPAN. The cable industry joined with the early staff of C-SPAN to offer C-SPAN as a public service, and the House of Representatives was the core programming of that public service. So the House was getting a lot of visibility in the 80s that the Senate wasn't getting. Some senators noticed. They noticed that House members were becoming better known than some senators, and the Senate voted in 1986 to allow cameras. Now, at that time, C-SPAN had a challenge because our commitment was always to carry the House gavel to gavel. Well, now the Senate also put cameras in. What were we going to do? Well, we started C-SPAN 2 so that that channel could carry the Senate when it's in session, and C-SPAN could carry the House whenever it's in session.
And on the educational mission of C-SPAN, and you're here, and you're going to be meeting with students as you have across the country, what is the educational component of C-SPAN?
The key educational component is really two parts. One is for students to know that our service exists and what it encompasses, both for their own knowledge of government, but also for their studies, that it's a resource that they can use. And the second part is how to use that resource. We have a video-rich website that contains every bit of programming that we've aired since 1987, almost 250,000 hours, and we show them how to access the website, how to find the video. They can clip the video, they can share it on their social platforms, they can use it in their research, use it in their papers. So it's really making the connection between their studies and our resources.
And I would say, I know for myself, I'll turn on and you can watch old speeches on book note discussions of books. You don't have time necessarily to read every book, but you can watch an hour discussion and learn an awful lot from those, or Richard Nixon when he was interviewed, many people who are no longer with us, but they're available to hear what their comments were on the C-SPAN website.
That's right, everything from 1987. It includes not just our coverage of congressional proceedings or congressional committees, but our programming about nonfiction books, our programming about American history, our reenactments of the Lincoln-Douglas debates that we did in 1994 in the 7 cities in Illinois where the original 7 debates took place, and the House divided speech that was reenacted right up the street here at the old state capitol. So there's just a wealth of resources there, video resources that are there not just for students, but people interested in history and government.
We welcome you back to Springfield and good luck on your travels.
Thank you very much, Terry.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide nonpartisan coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.